Show. I am your host, JP. This is my
Um,
co-host,
MC.
the Sizzle Meister, yours truly, and this is episode 38. And we are in the middle of March Madness. Holy smokes, it is crazy right now. Uh luckily, I mean not luckily because they're dominating. My boys, the Wolverines, U of M are absolutely kicking ass in the playoffs right now. And let's take a look. State crushed them. Yeah, so you guys have been dominating too. 27th is what, a couple days from now? Let me bust out the old calendar.
Yeah,
So not till
couple days.
Friday, not till Friday. Um, so everybody gets a couple days off here. Holy shit, MC. The matchups, the best teams are obviously now winning. There hasn't been any crazy upsets, and if they did, they immediately got knocked out in the second round pretty quickly. But your boys, Michigan State, they absolutely dominated North Dakota in the first game, and then the last game here in the second round, they played Louisville, number 6, and it was a close game for the most part, but they ended up pulling away 77-69. So a lot of great defense by your boys. And now they're on to the Sweet 16 in Sizzle, where they will have to play number 2 UConn. So this is go time. This is the stakes and all of that are on. You got to be ready come Friday. UConn is number 2. You guys are number 3. So we're expecting a battle.
well, well, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. You're good.
Well, I was just gonna say, what's your predictions, JP? Who do you got, UConn or State?
I'm taking State. You guys got some really good key players that know how to ball.
Okay,
That Fears Jr. Awesome name, by the way, but he's a star, dude. He's a top 10 NBA draft pick when he's eligible. Uh, he's a leader, and they got a lot of great players around him that are easily, first rounders. Speaking of the draft, with that, I can see you guys coming away. I think it's going to be close. I think UConn is going to pull out the tricks. Some of them you guys are going to be ready for. Some of them you guys are not going to be, because that's what happens when you get to this point. It's if you end up dominating number 2, you guys will look really good going forward. That's good momentum to have. But let me. Well, you go ahead. What do you think? What do you think Michigan's got? DraftKings, while you.
State, you mean, or
Yeah, yeah,
Michigan?
yeah. State versus UConn.
Obviously, I'm gonna go with State. You know that. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a close game. I got State.
Mm-hmm.
I got State winning by 3 points. I think it's gonna be close. I think it's gonna be. Obviously, I say this all the time. The team that's got the less turnovers is gonna take it, and
Mm-hmm.
penalties too. So,
Well,
um,
you ready for some of the odds, M Sizzle?
yeah,
All right, you're
it,
ready. The betting percentage is literally 50-50. Half of the
oh,
bets are on State, half of the bets are on UConn. The
hmm,
spread is 2.5. They are projecting this to be very close.
yeah. So it's close.
That they do have UConn slightly favored, but again by 2.5 points. I mean, that's a free throw. That's a 3-pointer at the end. That's a quick dunk. You know,
Yeah,
uh, looking at all the stats here on the side, I mean, you guys are absolutely dead even. Like I couldn't make up a better matchup. It's literally like Tim uh made these like points per game. You guys are 82, they're 84. Uh Points allowed 71-68. Like point differentials are plus 11, plus 15. Like, it doesn't get any closer than that. Like, you guys are literally built. Like, this is probably a Final Four game heading out a little early here at, number 3 and number 2. Um, yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts on it being a close game?
I I just think, like I said, whoever shows up to play basically is gonna win, obviously. But yeah, I just think that I think State has just been in it too many times. They're good in the March Madness bracket usually. So yeah, I think State's gonna have the least penalties and the least amount of turnovers. And I just think I just don't foresee UConn beating them.
Okay. Oh
I, I
yeah.
just I just see State hitting that last 3-pointer to seal the deal. You know?
Mhm. Oh yeah, absolutely.
I just feel like it's their year, and then obviously, we'll see.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. And then on the other side here, we got Michigan against Bama. Michigan has absolutely slaughtered the teams before. Howard in the first round, 101 to 80. The last game, 95 to 72 against St. Louis. Uh Bama's been crushing their teams too. So this looks like it's going to be two high-powered offenses about to go, a little old fisticuffs here. Um I'm absolutely rooting for Michigan, man. They got stars everywhere. Their five starting are all great. They got a couple of ballers on the bench. Um, Lindenberg, or whatever his name is. He is an animal. He will dunk on your face. He will go to the sideline, look for your family, and sign them autographs. Be like, "Hey, I just did that to your son, and here you go." Like, he's a star. He's a baller. He is in your face. He I don't think I've seen a college player with this much of a offensive like attack in a long time. I mean, the league has switched to all these 3-point shooters. They're a dime a dozen now. It's like even the big guys got to shoot threes because they're not in there dunking. They're not in there in your face. I mean, sure they're in there for rebounds and stuff for catching all these 3-pointers that make or don't make. Uh Michigan just has it all, man, and they have this big white on their team too. Like I'll have to find the play, but or maybe you can look it up later. But there was this one time where our guys got the rebound and he literally full court alley ooped it to this guy. Like they're a nightmare, and I think Bama is gonna absolutely have their hands full. I think let me look at the odds for this game. Oh,
I'm just gonna go out and call Michigan's gonna win.
oh,
So, but
you ready? You ready for these odds and stuff, brother?
sure, hit me with it.
All right. The betting percentage, 82% is on Michigan, only 18 on Bama. That is probably one of the biggest differentials I've seen since I've started betting. Um, Alabama is plus 400, so you can they're the underdog by a lot. The spread is 10, so they're not expecting it to be close. Michigan is minus 535. So if you were to put $1 on it, you're only going to make 18 cents off that bet.
Wow.
So, I mean, if you're looking for an upset, that's probably the one to make the most money off because all the other games are really close. Like Michigan State's game there with UConn. I mean, that's 50-50. You're not making any money off that unless you throw the house on it. here, I mean, if you're looking for an upset, maybe throw a couple bucks on Bama to kind of like hedge yourself. Like obviously they're not expected to win, but it's March Madness. This is the time where you could possibly have your bad game and they have their good game, and all of a sudden, what happened? We'll be
Yeah, very
talking
true,
about
man.
it 10 years from now when you're like, oh hey, remember when Michigan State went and won the championship and your guys just fell apart? No, number one Michigan. Let's watch the documentary of the falling. The collapsing. um, yeah.
Yeah, I just gonna say, Michigan. I just think that they just got too many weapons, man, and I just think that they're ready and motivated. That's my take, my pick.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Okay. All right. Now, yeah. Other games to watch is going to be Nebraska and Ohio, Duke versus St. John's, Houston versus Illinois, Arizona versus Arkansas, Purdue versus Texas, and Iowa State versus Tennessee. So, yeah, those are all the games to look forward to Thursday and Friday. Let's talk to, or not talk to, but let's look at some Schefter news. Travis Kelce officially signed his new deal with Kansas City. That it's a 3-year deal, so he's there for a little bit. Jackson Smith Najigba signed his contract. He's the highest paid wide receiver in the league now at 42 mil.
ooh, wow, that's craziness, dude.
So now you kind of see why the Seahawks had to let Kenneth go.
Yeah, makes sense now, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy money
Um,
though. What else you
mm-hmm.
got?
Look it down here. Lots of Najigba stuff. There's really not a whole lot of news. There's a couple of free agents that are still out there, like Decker, Christian Wilkins.
You think Decker will get picked up by anybody?
Well, I mean, you already had a hankering there in the pre-recording there about Chicago showing interest. Schefter did mention that there are a few teams that are interested in him, and it's right now just meeting what his hopes are for getting money. Obviously, we know what we think of him, but it's up to him and his agents to see what kind of money they can get for him. Uh, you know, obviously we have our gripe with him, but as far as left tackles go, he still has one of the highest numbers in the league. So it's kind of hard to say that he's gonna, dwindle away if he doesn't get signed. He'll definitely start wherever he goes. It's just the money, age, obviously injury. His injuries are always consistent. Passing a physical. There's all those questions that have to be answered too.
Yeah. Is he gonna do you, yeah, and I would put money on it that he would not be healthy for a full season,
Yeah,
you
no,
know?
yeah, no. That's also something that has to go into the negotiation. It's like, hey, the last 400 years you've missed at least 5 or 6 games every year, and they tend to be critical games. Are we going to be able to depend on you? Those kinds of things.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all
Hey,
comes into play.
watch him go and get signed somewhere and play the whole year.
And win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, oh, whoa,
You know,
whoa, whoa, whoa.
I know,
Oh,
right?
oh, oh,
Uh,
I almost threw up there.
but yeah, I haven't seen any anything too extreme in the NFL.
Mm. Um, yeah, let's talk about Detroit's signings. Those. All right. Here's some of the boys that we've signed. Obviously, we talked about Cade Mays, our new center, Larry Borum, our new tackle, Isaiah Pacheco. We talked about him.
Hmm.
We talked about re-signing Rodriguez. Um, Teddy Bridgewater is our backup, which is fine. He's a good earpiece, like I mentioned. He's good to just have on the sideline because he knows how to talk to Goff. You know, he's like, hey, I seen this. Watch JMO the next time you do this play. He's always open, kind of shit. He's good eyes. He's a good person to have in the headset.
Right.
Um, Goff restructured his contract to free up some money. Um, we've re-signed Rocky Asin. He was one of the DBs that did really well whenever he stepped in when Branch and Kirby got hurt. So he's a solid guy. He's somebody I'm glad we kept. One of the other signings that we had is Christian Izien. He's a DB from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Professor and I watched some of the highlights. He's one of those people who have picked off Goff before, so he's a good player. He knows how to read the field. He's one of those guys who gets up in the face of the run plays. So he's definitely somebody solid to have on the team. With us looking like we're going to be giving Laporta the big contract, we ended up getting backup tight end Tyler Conklin. He's a guy who's been around the league for a while. He's been a solid backup. Not somebody you would want to take on fantasy as far as like points and stuff, but
Yeah.
he's a good blocker. Um, the last few teams that he's played for, he's caught a dozen passes, got maybe one or two TDs each season. But he's not the go-to guy, which obviously we don't need. We got Laporta, but he fits in because he can. He can be a sneaky weapon. He's like a Mark Andrews. He's
Hmm.
later in his career. He's still a mean, tough, hard-nosed tight end that you can have to block and stuff. But he's also a guy that after you've done 3 or 4 blocks and then you do that little play action, he kind of sneaks away and nobody thinks about it, and it's like, oh, this guy still has hands. Uh,
Right.
so I thought that was a really, really nice, like, cheap signing on the offense. You didn't have to go out and find, a bunch of bums. You didn't have to go out and pay for, somebody crazy. You don't have to waste a draft pick. You got somebody who's been solid. He's, when he is asked of something, he does it. Um, we got another corner, Roger McCreary. He's another solid player. He's been in the league for a few years. He's got great eyes, great vision. He's somebody, obviously, he's not going to start, but kind of like Izian and Rocky Sin, great people to have behind our guys, behind Kirby, behind. Uh, yeah, and then some of the linemen that we've snagged. We got DJ Wanham from the Panthers, and then we got Peyton Turner from the Saints. Peyton Turner is definitely somebody that I like to see on the line on the other side of Hutch. He he's disruptive. He's long, like he's tall. He's got that that nice push on people so they can't get in and block. He keeps that separation from the linemen. Uh, DJ Wanham, he's young, but he's been on a really crappy Panthers team for a while, so it's hard to really judge what he is until we got him. Um, and then we got a linebacker, Damon Clark. He's been with the Texans for a while. He's solid. He's been on good defenses, so he knows his shit. And then this one was one that me and Professor are really excited about because it we ended up getting rid of Khalif Raymond. We let him go,
Yep.
and got rid of our return guy. Our punt returner, our special teams guy, and also that third, fourth wide receiver that just fills up the spot and is a good, solid player. We got Dortch. He's a wide receiver. He's been the number 2 guy on the Cardinals. 2 things with this. He's super solid. He's you remember Brandon Cooks, the wide receiver?
Yeah.
A little short guy, but Mr. Reliable, quick.
Yep.
For being a little guy, when he catches the ball, he'll still run into somebody instead of like gook to the side and try to get that side yard. He'll run into people and try to use his little momentum and leverage to get those extra yards. So he is an absolute, probably my favorite pickup that we've gotten so far. I mean, besides our lineman, I'm really stoked about our lineman and Pacheco. But getting Dortch, I think, was probably the most underrated signing that we've made until he gets into the league with us. And, him and our buddy there, Mr. Secret Weapon, Tesla. Him and Tesla, I think, are going to be swapping in and out as far as the third wideout, given the defense many different looks. You got that tall, over the top Tesla, but then you got this little tiny speedster that, Golden Tate. Golden Tate is another great comparison with this guy. He's small, short, but for
Right.
some reason,
Yeah.
for being a smaller guy, he just looks stocky. You know what I mean? He probably isn't, but just the way that he plays is, his chest is forward, he's got a tight grip on the ball, and it's like, okay, he's gonna run and hit you, buddy. You better prepare yourself. You might take him out, but he's gonna lay a lick on you. So it's like, yeah, I like to see that. I like to see it. Um, yeah, any of these guys that intrigue you as far as signings go?
Seem to be all pretty good pickups. So it's just the key word. Can we all be healthy?
Mm-hmm.
But on paper, it looks good. We just gotta gotta capitalize this season. You know.
Mm-hmm. Oh
But
yeah,
yeah, it seems good so far.
yeah. Now it's just signing the boys that we got. We still have a shit ton of draft picks, so we'll be able to, still do work there. So it just, for me, I think we built another solid core. We brought in the right people, the right age of people. We're not catching anybody on the back end of their career like Mike Evans. Everybody was like, "We need to sign Mike Evans." I'm like, "No, he's gonna want a lot of money, and we're only gonna get a year out of him. So why do we want that kind of stuff?"
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree, man. Got to get younger guys in, and build from that.
Mhm.
That's how you win, man.
Hey, Professor, come here for a second. All right, get Professor on here. We're just gonna talk about the Lions signings and see what you think about them so far. All right, here you go, Professor.
Okay. Some crazy signings, eh, dude?
Yeah. Good signings.
Well, the good he signed a bunch of depth players. He still needs that edge guy. Uh, these guys are going to have to play edge by committee because they got switching up corners, ends, uh, edge guys. But they need that superstar that takes all the pressure off of the other end of the line.
All right. Well, since you're talking about it, we signed 2 defensive ends in the last week.
Yeah, Turner and
Wanham.
Wanham. Yeah,
Yep. Those 2 guys are going to be fighting for the other side, if not being good swap outs.
yeah, that's what. Yeah, a couple downs a piece. I don't know. Either one of them could come on in training camp uh, if they can show any. The thing is that all your best defensive backs are going to have to stay over on that side for backup until they figure out if the guy can hold his ground. Well, like behind Hutch, you know, you could put anybody back there because most people ain't going to make it back there anyways. Uh, and a lot of it depends on if Branch and what's his face is healthy. Kirby, yeah, Joseph. So if those guys are both healthy, it makes the edge rusher's job a little easier. Uh, you don't have to be in any kind of panic mode. If you let somebody by you and there's nobody back there to assist you, it definitely makes you look a lot worse than what it really is. So,
True. Very true.
Well, one of the players we brought back is Rocky Asin.
well, yeah, he should be back.
The new pickup we got Christian Izian.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna like him. Just by watching, I watched his highlight films. Uh, what was that? Woodward Sports. We watched that on.
Yep.
Yeah, this guy has the potential to be a good. He can play a couple different positions too. So
We got Tyler Conklin as our backup tight end.
yeah, he should be all right.
And then Damon Clark
Yeah.
as our new outside linebacker
Outside, yeah.
to replace Anzalone. And then my favorite pickup is Dortch from the Cardinals. Like I was telling MC, you and I were thinking that he reminded us of a Brandon Cooks.
Yeah.
While I was sitting here thinking about it, I was like, you know what? He reminds me of Golden Tate.
Oh, Golden Tate.
Mm-hmm. Prime example.
Yeah, we got some speed. I mean, he's freaky fast. Now you just got to adjust your game to him. Yeah, every time he was out there, he was like 3, 4 yards past anybody. Uh, so, so if you got a 3 wide receiver set with St. Brown and JMO, you got to keep him honest. That's the beauty about having a third guy with that kind of speed. You can't just walk away from him and go double team St. Brown or JMO, depending on the side you're on. Because if you flinch on this guy, he's going to be right by you. St. Brown, he just runs great patterns. I mean, he's not going to outrun all the defenses out there, but if he gets past you, you're going to have a hell of a time catching up to him. That's the difference. With JMO, if he gets past you, you ain't catching him. That's just
Nope.
how it is. There might be 2 corners in the league or 2 linebackers in the league that might be able to catch him. But that's it. So, no, I think you're going to be okay. I would still like to see that Max Crosby type of guy being picked up. Here's how I think the draft's going to go. I believe, just looking at how they're setting, and the teams ahead of them are going to get the players they need. There's only two teams that probably going to go after quarterbacks. We don't need that. Detroit will give up their first round, change first rounds with somebody, say 11 or 12 or 13, 10 even. Give them the first round and maybe a fourth and a seven, just to switch that round and go up and get, because there's two corners in this draft. Basically outside guys that are going to be superstars. They look like by watching the highlight film, but there are like 6 of them. But there are 2 that are game changers, and I can't remember the one guy from Auburn, was it?
Ohio State.
Ohio State. Yeah, he might not be ready. He might not be there by 10 or 11 or 12.
Right, that's the thing. It all depends on how the draft unfolds.
Yeah, but so the teams ahead of them, you don't know. Tampa Bay needs a lot of help. Miami needs a lot. So, yeah, if we can pick up that one really good corner, defensive end opposite. We got to get somebody opposite of Hutch. That's still a goal. And they could wrap up a couple of these guys along with that first and a fourth to move up to, say, a number 11 spot. I have to go look at who's there and how hurting they are. But if you can give somebody still get a first round pick plus 2 more picks in the draft, somebody who's hurting, like the Jets or who's up there.
Oh man,
A team that's got to build. They're definitely in a rebuild. Who else is in a rebuild? Miami.
Hold on, you're talking Jets are gonna rebuild? What's new there?
Well, no, but I'm
Professor?
just saying, to get their pick.
Oh, okay, yeah, I get
It'd be
you.
easy
Yeah,
for Detroit to say, let's just switch first round, and we'll give you a fourth and a 7.
yeah.
Them getting 2 extra picks in that draft might be worth it to them, especially the rebuild teams,
Right.
to move up into.
Well, there's 6 teams that have 2 first-round picks coming up, so there could be a
Oh.
couple of those teams that will be looking to use one of those picks to get a little few extra with it.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
All right.
All right. That's my professor's wisdom.
Thank you, Professor.
But yeah, no, we're under a minute here. We'll thank you guys for stopping in and checking out the pre-bet show. We'll have more for you guys as the March Madness continues. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, pre-bet.
Pre-bet. I'm Sizzle.